Well, hello, Dixie Belle paint fans. How are you today? It is Melissa from the Top Drawer RVA coming on live because it is Wednesday at 3 p.m. and live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. here on this page to hang out with you and play with some paint. And I have a promised project today. So if you've been following for a little while, you know that I paint a lot of Christmas goodies. I like to paint cute little Christmas decor. I like to take things that I find at the thrift store and upcycle them. I'm constantly painting new fun things, and I usually take them to my booth here in Short Pump, Richmond, Virginia to sell. So last year we did like a cute little nutcracker together, and it was super duper popular. And I thought that now we could do a sweet little snowman. And this is so easy. I want you guys to be completely prepared to whip one of these out once you get good at it in like 10 minutes. Super fast, super easy, and a lot of fun. So today, grab your paint. All you need is a couple Dixie Belle colors, whatever you think you would like to use to make a snowman. I'm going to be doing a base of Yankee Blue, kind of like a night sky. And then of course the snowman can be Fluff, it can be white cap, it can be any white. I like to accent with a little aqua, so I have the Gulf here. And then of course a black, a brown, and a Florida orange for your carrot nose. So grab your colors, grab your brushes, let's hang out and play with some paint, shall we? Let's do it. Okay, so this is a little canvas that I purchased at my local Goodwill. I think I got this little guy for, I think it was around $4. It's nice because it's already framed, right? It has a cute little saying on here. It's wood. I picked off the Goodwill sticker. It's already got the little doodad to hang it up on the wall. These things make great flips because once you paint in here, you've got yourself like a whole new framed picture, and that is a lot of fun and very easy to use. You could also do something like this. I do a lot of snowmen and art on old cabinet doors. I can also find these at thrift stores. This one just happened to be $4.99 at my local thrift store. So I've painted in a little canvas spot, and I would paint a little snowman right here with some snowflakes. Super cute kind of porch decor, right? So I want you to kind of think out of the box. Grab your cupboard doors. If you have a piece of wood that you can use to upcycle. I buy wood all year round and just kind of shove it into a corner and then save it for a special occasion. Let's see, I see Jan watching. Oh good, sit down Jan, grab your paint and let's play. Okay, so what do you need? Well, you need brushes. You know that Dixie Belle makes Artisan Brushes, and they are really great for projects like this because they're smaller. You can hold, actually look at what I have to hold my water. I have an old Santa cup for my water and I have a hockey cup for my brushes. I love more than Canada loves hockey because, haha, you guys know I'm Canadian, right? So that's funny. This is a little metal tin. So I put my brushes in here in water as I'm working, and it is perfect. So you're gonna need to grab some brushes. You can do it with small brushes like this, or for the background, it really doesn't matter. You can use bigger brushes. You can use whatever you like, all right? So let's jump in. This is so easy. I like to make kind of like a sky in the background, okay? I'm going to start with the edges so I don't make too much of a mess. If I wasn't talking, I would probably be a little bit more precise, but we're going to try and do this nice and quick and get this whole thing done. So I've just got this blue right here. This is Yankee Blue. I'm going to come in close to the edge. If you are able to do this freehand, hooray. If you need to tape it off, that's totally okay too. Sometimes I tape stuff, sometimes I just freehand stuff. I am just painting this a little willy-nilly, and we are going to get the background in. So give me a second to get these edges done. And then I'm going to show you how to make kind of like a night sky background very quickly with two colors. So this is Yankee Blue. You could use Bunker Hill Blue. You could use In the Navy. You could even use Caviar if you wanted a night sky. It's up to you. So I'm just getting that paint over here inside the corners, right up against the edges. Once I get that part down, we're pretty quick. You could prime this with Boss if you felt the need, but I feel like these colors are really good coverage. So I'm not really worried. Like once you get in here over top of these letters, it's quite easy to cover them up. And I put a heat gun on the floor so we can speed up this process and get the entire piece done in one painting session. Let's bring you in nice and close so that you guys can see exactly what I'm up to. And then this way you won't miss a thing. So I'm sitting on my little desk, crisscross applesauce. I'm probably gonna not be able to walk because I like to sit with my legs crossed, and I'll probably cut off all my circulation, but it's comfy and you guys can get in and close to the edges here and see what I'm up to. So let's just use this chalk mineral paint to come up here and fill in this blank spot. So when's the last time you guys went thrifting and looked for specific things to paint art on? When I paint Christmas words, Christmas art, or Christmas snowman, or whatever I decide to do, I find so many pieces you can easily upcycle from the thrift store. And I've actually even pulled cupboard doors and old windows out of people's trash. I love to embarrass the life out of my kids because I am the person that will totally pull over when I see wood in the garbage, right? So there we go. So we have this base of Yankee Blue. Can you see this bear? Is it easier if you come across behind me? Maybe a little bit like that will be easier. So I'm just going to fill in all of my edges with my Yankee Blue. How's the reflection of the light? It's actually really good. You're not getting the reflection from my ring light behind me. It's kind of dark out today. We need the extra little light. Okay, so now we have this Yankee Blue here. Let's take it to the next step, because when you see this piece, you think, oh, she's got like a little bit of depth here. Like it looks a little bit more like a sky. This is very easy to do, and you don't have to be very fussy when it comes down to it. So I'm gonna dip my brush into a little bit of the Gulf. I'm using the same brush that I had the Yankee Blue on, and I'm just gonna kind of make like a little crisscross line. Now what this is gonna do is start to blend, and see how I kind of go back and forth? I'm gonna get Bob Ross in here, a little Bob Ross-ish. I'm gonna go back and forth with my Yankee Blue mixed in with the Gulf to create kind of like a little bit of a cross hatch pattern. All this is gonna do is kind of build up that background. Did I touch? I touched one spot. Let me grab my one cloth to wipe it off, because of course, if it dries, it'll be harder to get off the frame. So let me just do this really quick. There, it's gone. It's gone. So you're taking that same brush and you're just kind of brushing it back and forth, side to side, up and down, to build like a cloudy middle, because we're going to put a tiny little cutie patootie snowman right in the middle. So this is just building it up, a little crosshatch back and forth, and then when this dries, it's just going to give you a little bit more of a, you know, just a little more interesting background, right? Making sure I hit all of my corners. There we go. So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All that's going to do is give you this background. So now we have our background done. I'm going to put this in my water. I'm going to grab my heat gun, and we're going to, oh goodness, I'm sitting in front of the heat gun. We're going to bring it around my shoulder, and I'm going to blast it until it's dry, because we're going to paint a snowman right over top. So when this dries, it looks really great because it's kind of like a cloudy background. That little bit of crosshatch gives it some texture. You can see that I covered the words that were on there very easily. And then we're going to paint a snowman. Now, if I was doing this off camera, I can paint a snowman in about 5 minutes. So if I can do it in 5 minutes, I know you guys can do this very easily and very quickly. This is not a hard Christmas craft. This is a fast Christmas craft. So I'm just drying the background. Okay, let me put my heat gun down. Now check, here's my handy dandy tip of the day. Check what side your little hangy piece is on, because if you paint a snowman this way, he'll be upside down. You're gonna have to move that. So let's make sure that that little piece is at the top, and we are ready to begin. So here's my cute little thrifted canvas, and I'm gonna go in with the square blunt brush, okay? So this is just one of the Dixie Belle's Artisan brushes. You can see I use them a lot. They have paint all over them. And I have a paper plate over here on my table. I'm gonna scoop out some of my white, and I'm gonna be kind of messy. I'm gonna grab my water, and I'm gonna spray my plate. Okay, because this is where I always do my art, at this little table in the corner. And sometimes my paint gets a little chunky because somebody I know doesn't close the lids. I don't know who, horrible person. So I have to spray my paint sometimes just to get it a little bit smooth. So you can do a snowman in a couple different ways. You can do like a very big body in an oval and like a little head, or you can do 3 typical style snowman, obviously, shapes. So here's a tip. Hold your brush a little far back and get a little loosey-goosey with it. You don't have to be up here all like super close. And this is not a detail. This is a have fun kind of art, okay? So I'm gonna do 3 kind of circles for the base of my snowman. There's 1, 2, and obviously his head. 3 circles, super easy, right? You can do this, it's not hard. Once I get my 3 circle shapes in, I'm gonna start to fill in his body. Now this is gonna be like a mixed media canvas. Once I'm done painting, we're actually gonna glue a little ribbon on, and that ribbon is going to be our sweet little snowman's scarf. We can also glue buttons on, and that's gonna be his little buttons on his front of his snowman body. You're not locked in to just paint. You can use mixed media and it kind of makes it more fun and crafty. People like these kind of little handmade things, and they make a great hostess gift too. If you're deciding that you're gonna go somewhere over the holiday and you wanted to bring something for somebody, people love these little hand-painted art. You bring them out at Christmas. My daughter paints usually with me. I bring hers out every year. She painted the cutest llama a couple years ago, and every year he comes out and sits on our mantle. So you can see how the edges are nice and kind of soft, right? You're not like a super detailed, perfect circle. You're just kind of jumping in and getting crafty. So along with this white fluff, you could also use cotton, you could also use salt water. You're not locked in. I'm gonna grab a little bit of that gulf with the same brush. It's a nice little kind of little greeny aqua color. And I'm gonna start to add a little bit of shadowing to my sweet little snowman. Okay, so all this is gonna do is start to give him some life. So I'm just adding a little bit of blue. I'm gonna go back into the white again, and we're gonna mix. So you're just kind of adding a little bit of definition to your circles. You're not locked in to having to do it any other way. If you had another way you wanted to do this, you totally can. But I like to give him a little bit of blue. You could also do this with gray, okay? So now we have white and blue. Now I'm going to put my brush back in the water, and I'm going to grab my heat gun again, and we're going to give him a little blast of air just to get him dry so that we can work on the other parts of his body. So there's a couple of different ways you can choose to do a snowman. You could paint him very simply with a nose going up and arms going out so that he's looking up here like, let it snow, let it snow. You could paint him directly with his nose out to the side, with his eyes looking to the side. Sometimes I'll paint a snowman on one side and a tree on the other, and it looks like the snowman is trying to catch a following tree. We're gonna do this one with his face going upwards, okay? So I have, again, the paint on my little tray over here. I'm gonna grab chocolate. This is a chocolate color. You can use any brown, and you don't even need a lot. I'm just gonna deposit a little bit onto my little paper plate over here. Sometimes when my jars get really full, they come in here, and then I save them for like a little bit longer. I'm also going to dump out a little bit of Florida orange. Obviously, Florida orange is going to be for our sweet little snowman's nose. We always need orange for his nose. And FYI, all the paints that I'm using today do come in like a tiny little 4-ounce size. So if you were looking to find one specifically for crafting, you would be a-okay with that. All right, let's see which brush I would like to use for this. I want kind of a thinner brush. Something that's a little bit more pokey. Let's see what I can find in my stash. I've got some bigger brushes. This is the one I usually like, but she's looking a little rough. She's looking a little rough. I want the skinniest brush possible, and I tend to be really hard on my brushes, so I tend to wreck them very easily. So this brush is just a craft brush. This is a little bit of a thinner, pointy kind of edge to it. All right, the thinnest one that we have for Dixie Belle is similar to this, is not quite small enough. That would be this one, and see how the thickness is just a little bit wider than what I want. So I'm gonna go with this brush, it's a little thinner. I'm gonna dip it into my chocolate brown, and again, holding my brush on the end. If I come in here like this, I'm gonna get way too detailed. I'm gonna get way too worried about what's happening. But if I go kind of loosey-goosey and hold it from the back style, we're gonna start your snowman's arms a little bit in. Because if you start them right on the edge, it's not gonna be as kind of real looking. So you're gonna start his arm in, and you're gonna gently kind of bring his hand up. So this snowman has branches for arms, okay? Again, same thing on the other side, up, out. You can add like little branches on the side if you want. So say you wanna make sure his fingers are here. Maybe he's got some funny little branches over here, that's up to you. This is just chocolate brown, creating some cute little arms on our beast, okay? I'm gonna go back into the white that I had sitting there, mixing a little bit of white in on my brush. And we're going to start to accent his arms a little bit. I'm going to drag a little bit of this white just kind of on the edges so that it makes it easier to see our snowman's arms. Okay, so I've just added a little bit of white accent to the brown. And then I'm going to wash my brush and I'm going to come back in and I'm going to do this nose with the orange. So this is Florida orange. Again, very loosey-goosey. You don't have to be perfect. This is a carrot nose, obviously. Our snowman's going to have a carrot nose. You can start the nose a little bit further down, and noses are not perfect either. You want your nose to be kind of crooked, right? Snowman should not be perfect. This is a carrot nose. He's looking up at the sky, right? If he's looking up at the sky, that means we're not going to see his eyes on this photo. We're just going to see his nose. Like if you're looking up, you would see your nose and your mouth and probably not your eyeballs. So now I'm going to go back over, wash my brush, and I'm going to move into a black. For black today, I grabbed my Midnight Sky. Midnight Sky is almost true black, but just a little bit more gray. So I'm just going to dip my brush in here, and we're going to create his mouth. Okay, this is very simple. You can decide how many little pieces of coal, because that's technically what it is, a coal mouth, right? How many pieces of coal you would do for a smiling snowman. I'm going to do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we have a smiling snowman looking up at the sky, right? Because we're going to add cute little snowflakes in here. You can also take the same black that's on your brush and use the same black to kind of accent some of the edges of the branch that you're using for his sweet little arms, right? Like that. And you could also use the same black to come in and actually line his nose if you want to create a carrot nose. But for now, we're going to leave it like that. All right, so now you see you've got his arms. He's looking up at the sky. He's like, yay, let it snow, let it snow. You could add a couple little trees in here if you want. You could add snow on the base. It's entirely up to you what you decide you'd like to add. So for me, I like to take my glue gun, which I have out of camera frame over here because my cord doesn't reach that far. And I have some sweet little buttons. Okay, these are just tiny little craft store buttons. And all I'm going to do is glue on the back of my craft store button. And I'm going to stick it on his chest. So his buttons, he's going to have a button chest. Instead of painting on the buttons, I'm going to glue on the buttons. Same thing with this one. Buttons on his chest. So next up, let me see if I have a glue stick. Hold tight because this glue is almost finished. Next up, I'm going to add his scarf. Item procured. I've got my glue stick. All right, put this back over here. And, ooh, uncross the legs. This old lady needs a break. So we're going to add a little scarf up here once I get his arms dry. If I do this before his arms are dry, I might get paint on his body. So let's dry him a little bit with this heat gun. What do you think? Isn't he cute so far? Just a simple, sweet little snowman. Anybody can do this, I promise. All right, so now that we've dried his arms a little bit, I'm going to show you how we can make a scarf. And then I'm going to paint first the tiny little snowflakes, and then we will come in and add a scarf because I don't want the snowflakes to go on after I got the scarf. So I've got this ribbon that I purchased at the craft store. Kind of looks like a scarf already, right? But it's a little bit too thick. So I'm going to cut my ribbon. See, if I put this on, he's obviously, even if I folded it, it's still too thick. So I'm just going to cut like a length that I think the width and the length should be for my snowman's little scarf. And you can do this with scraps of ribbon, scraps of button. Okay. Now, if this was a real scarf, you would probably have like little kind of frayed ends. So I like to cut the ends a little bit. Make it like a little, just a little scarf. Cute, right? So cute. Am I Bob Rossing you yet? Have you relaxed enough? Everybody enjoying their cup of tea? I'm trying to be painting this as simple as possible that everybody feels like they could paint it. It's really not hard. These are just basic shapes, super easy. So when I do his scarf, I like to kind of like fold things over so that when I actually put it on, it's the right size. Let me just glue it with the glue gun. Of course, it's out of frame because I can't reach my glue gun over this far. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in the middle and I'm going to fold that piece in half. So folding that in half is going to create like what the scarf would be around his neck. And the fun thing about this material, this ribbon, is that there is a wire in it. So once we actually do glue it on there, we can aim it and shape it so that it looks like it's like flying in the wind. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? So cute. Let's add some snowflakes before we do that. I'm going to put this aside and we're going to come in here and add some snowflakes. I'm going to go back in with that tiny little, very sharp brush. I'm going to scoop out some of this fluff, I think. Let me scoop some out and put it here on my lid so that I can water it down just a bit. Wipe the excess off. Grab my spray misting bottle and just kind of dilute my paint. So when you do snowflakes, there's, again, no rules, no reason. You could come here with words and write "let it snow" around the edges. You could use your Cricut to print out words. I'm going to come in here and just start to paint some sweet little snowflakes. So when I do snowflake, let's make sure you guys can see. I like to do just kind of like a very simple shape. So this snowflake is very, very simple. Can you see how easy that is? We're going to put a couple of these around our sweet little snowman. And then once we get our little snowflakes on, we're going to use the same brush to create snowflake dots. And that's going to really fill in some of this negative space and really make it super cute. So you could actually add, like if you wanted to add dots to your snowflakes, you could come in here and make dots. When my daughter draws them, she does like a circle with spokes out, and then she puts dots all around the edges and they look adorable. This is again all up to personalization. If you paint this, I would love to see, send me what you're painting. I want to see what I've inspired you to make, because I think that this is the part about painting that's fun. Sitting in your craft room, sitting in the corner, painting what you enjoy, painting a gift for somebody. This is a lot of fun. If you wanted to, you could use the same white to come in and really accent some of the corners. See how you can kind of get in here and add that little accent? It's up to you, whatever you like, but I definitely love adding buttons with a glue gun. This adds a really cute little touch to it. I hear my doggy coming into my craft room. So let's use the same brush and start to make some little dots. Now, when you're making snow dots, remember, snowflakes aren't the same. You don't have to paint them exactly the same every time. You could do more at the top, more at the bottom. This is like entirely up to you. Some big, some little. Don't forget to put them around your sweet little snowman. But you're filling in all of that negative space that's kind of up here on the blue. You can see how the background really accents your tiny snowman because he's got kind of like a nice little powdery nighttime background. He's so cute, right? So cute. Do you love this? Drop me some hearts. Let me know if you're going to try this sweet little Let It Snow piece. I've done it with the big board at the back where I've written in Let It Snow, and then I do it in the same blues and the same whites as my snowman. You could add little cheeks if you wanted to grab some pink. I have some pink over here on the table. This is, let's see, Tea Rose. Tea Rose is a sweet little pink. I could grab a little bit of that pink, mix it up on my little tiny painting tray. You can give him cheeks if you want. You could use red. All of these colors are entirely like what you decide you want to do. You're not locked in to the colors that I'm using. This is art, right? This is whatever you want to paint. This is not paint by numbers. This is paint by whatever you like. I'm giving you permission. So you can come in and add all of your sweet little snowflakes. I like to usually do more at the top to show that the snow is falling. Some big, some small, and he is adorable. You can also come in at the bottom if you want and add some snow. So I'm going to go back in with this brush and I'm going to grab some of this white so you can kind of like drop in some snow if you want into the corners. You don't even have to go all the way up. It's up to you. Let's see, back you up a tiny bit so you can catch what I'm doing down here. If you want to paint a tree in there, you could totally paint a tree in there. So all of a sudden you have a sweet little snowman. You have snow on the ground. You could paint a tree. We've added wood buttons. Let's put his scarf on here. So we have this ribbon that we folded over. I'm going to take my hot glue and put it on the back side. And then once I have my hot glue on the back side, I can really kind of just place it right where his scarf would be, right here. And remember I told you there's wire in this ribbon, so you can kind of aim the scarf out like he's having it fly in the wind, which is adorable. All of a sudden, out of a couple of Dixie Belle paint colors, some random buttons, some old ribbon, you've created some sweet little snowman art. How cute is he? Isn't this the cutest thing? So I've been painting these along with my nutcrackers. With my daughter, we paint stuff together all the time. You can always see what we're up to on TikTok. You can do this. I promise, this is not hard. You can choose your colors, you can choose your design. Like, you're not locked into the colors I did. I'm gonna come back in with some of this blue. I'm gonna add some blue dots too, because I don't want all my little snow to be one color. I wanna like change it up. I'm gonna make the blue dots even bigger than the white dots. And we're just gonna aim them kind of like coming down from the sky. Trust me, anybody can paint this. I promise. This did not take me very long at all. It's actually still wet in the corners from when I started the base. Let me know if you decide you're gonna paint this and you decide that this is gonna be a fun little thing for you. Send me a picture and I'll be happy to tag you on Instagram and we can show the world what we painted together. You can have fun with your paint. You can get in here, add whatever details you want, find some fun ribbon from the craft store, find some cute little mismatched buttons. I love it when buttons have like wood on them. This is adorable. You are able to paint whatever you like with a little bit of Dixie Belle paint and a little bit of imagination. You can make yourself a sweet little hostess gift too. Or if you're a vendor, you can sell these in your booth. Or if you're a Dixie Belle retailer and you wanted to maybe make a class for people, this is a class that I think that people would really like to learn. What do you think? How cute is that? He's so cute. He's adorable. So, colors I used today for the background, Yankee Blue mixed in with a little bit of In the Gulf. For his body, I used obviously white fluff with In the Gulf as well to accent. You could use gray if you wanted to use gray. I used chocolate for his arms, adding a little bit of that black and white to kind of give them some definition. We have obviously Florida orange for his carrot nose, the scarf, the buttons, and the snowflakes. So cute. Patty, I know you can give this a go. I know you're an artist, you can try this. If you wanted to check out a little bit more tutorials, you can always find more from me at the Top Drawer RVA on YouTube or on my own Facebook page. It is tagged into the description above. But I would love it. If you decide you're gonna paint yourself a sweet little snowman, send me a picture because I wanna see. And I think that adding a ribbon that has wire in it to kind of make his scarf fly like that is just the cutest thing. What do you think? Adorable, right? Super cute. A little Christmas craft with some Dixie Belle paint. I want to see what you paint next. I will be back next week. We'll be painting a new project. Stay tuned for more fun things. And I will see you again next time. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Merry Christmas.